Legal and Privacy Brief for July 27, 2026. Texas purchased mobile cell surveillance equipment from Israeli firm Cognite that forces nearby phones to connect without probable cause. A federal court partially upheld the Digital Equity Act, but stripped its race-based protections after the Trump administration challenged broadband discrimination safeguards. Hackers used an autonomous AI agent to conduct cyber espionage against Thailand's Ministry of Finance, exposing vulnerabilities in government network security. Here's the full breakdown of today's top legal and privacy stories. Next section, privacy developments. Texas deploys mobile cell site simulators. From Cognite, Texas purchased Falco Net cell site simulators from Israeli surveillance company Cognite that mimic mobile phone towers and force all nearby phones to connect, enabling law enforcement to track devices regardless of whether they belong to suspects. The contract reveals the equipment can be concealed in vehicles, backpacks, or attached to helicopters. This technology functions identically to L3 Harris's Stingray systems and collects location data on all phones within range without individualized warrants. Compliance action. Organizations operating in Texas should audit mobile device security policies and implement VPN always requirements for employees handling sensitive data. Consider issuing guidance on avoiding cellular connections in favor of secured Wi-Fi when handling confidential business communications. Source: Schneier on Security. Autonomous AI agent used in Thailand Finance Ministry breach. Hackers deployed Hermes, an open-source AI agent, in YOLO mode to conduct autonomous cyber espionage against Thailand's Ministry of Finance without human oversight. Hunt. EO researchers discovered hundreds of exposed files on attacker infrastructure, including stolen credentials, authentication cookies, attack scripts, and a previously undocumented malware family called Hades. The AI agent independently explored the ministry's network, searched internal files, gathered system information, and attempted privilege escalation. The breach exposed administrative portals, email systems, and document management platforms. Chinese-speaking operators are suspected based on recovered indicators. Compliance action. Implement monitoring for autonomous AI agent activity in network logs, particularly API calls that indicate automated reconnaissance. Review and restrict access to administrative portals and document management systems. Conduct immediate credential rotation if similar reconnaissance patterns are detected. Sources: The Record. Next section, policy changes. Federal court strips race-based protections from Digital Equity Act. The D.C. District Court issued a mixed ruling that preserved the 2021 Digital Equity Act's competitive grant program, but declared its race-based components unconstitutional. The Trump administration had challenged the act, which aimed to address digital redlining by requiring broadband deployments and grants to be non-discriminatory. The law identified minority status as one of 8 indicators of barriers to digital access. Major ISPs like AT&T have been documented charging minority neighborhoods higher prices for slower broadband service and refusing to upgrade or repair infrastructure in predominantly black areas of cities, including Detroit and Cleveland. The court ruling removes enforcement mechanisms designed to prevent racial discrimination in the $42.5 billion Infrastructure Act broadband expansion program. Compliance action. Telecommunications providers and broadband grant recipients must document non-discriminatory deployment practices without explicit race-based criteria. Maintain records showing service quality and pricing parity across all service areas to defend against discrimination claims under remaining portions of the Act. Source: TechDirt. Next section, compliance takeaways. Mobile surveillance risk. Implement VPN always policies for employees in Texas and other states deploying Stingray-type cell site simulators. Issue guidance prioritizing secured Wi-Fi over cellular connections for confidential communications. AI-powered reconnaissance detection. Update security monitoring to detect autonomous AI agent activity, particularly API call patterns indicating automated network mapping and credential testing. Review access controls on administrative portals. Credential rotation protocols. Establish procedures for emergency credential rotation when reconnaissance activity is detected. Prioritize administrative accounts, email systems, and document management platforms. Broadband deployment compliance. Telecommunications providers receiving federal broadband grants must document non-discriminatory deployment and pricing practices across all service areas while avoiding explicit race-based classifications following the Digital Equity Act court ruling. Government network hardening. Organizations with government contracts should audit network segmentation, restrict lateral movement capabilities, and implement enhanced logging for privilege escalation attempts following the Thailand Finance Ministry breach pattern. That concludes today's legal and privacy brief. From Carolina Clear Tech, for informational purposes only, not legal advice.